Hello and welcome back to Tech and EduSpark Hub, where technology meets education. In today's video, we'll be breaking down the logical operators in Python step by step with real life examples that you can start coding right away. Stick with me till the end because I will show you a bonus challenge that will test your skills. Firstly, what are logical operators? Logical operators are used to combine two or more conditional statements together. And in Python, we mainly have three logical operators. The first one is the AND logical operators, which return true if both conditions are true. So the AND, when you are joining two conditions together using the AND, it returns true if both conditions are true. And the second logical operator we have is the OR logical operator, which return true if at least one condition is true. Which means when you are using the OR logical operators, it is used to combine the two conditional statements and return true if at least one of these statements is true. And the last one, which is the NOT logical operators, it reverses the result, which means it returns true if the condition is false. To practicalize this, in our last video, we discussed about using the nested statement to write a program for a movie theater access. So let's say we use the input function to ask the user what is your age, and this way we can easily assign these lines of code to a variable called age using the equal sign. And we can simply declare these lines of code as an integer data type because we'll be expecting a number input from the user. So we can simply put the int function in front of our code. And this way, these lines of code has been declared as an integer data type. And secondly, we can simply check if they have a ticket or not by using the input function to ask the user, do you have a ticket? And we can simply give them an option or an hint of the type of response we want from the user by putting the yes or no in the brackets. And this way, the user can know what type of response or input we expect back to these lines of code. And we can assign these lines of code to another variable called asTicket by using the equal sign. And this way, whatever the user input to these lines of code, we can easily get a hold of it using this variable called asTicket. And like I said earlier, it is advisable to always put the dots lower at the back of our code when expecting a string input from the user. Because the user can type the yes or no in a capital case, and in our code, if we use the lowercase as a code, it will break this code because the user is entering a capital case, and in our code, we are using a lowercase. So using the dot lower at the back of our code when expecting a string input from the user, this dot lower will format whatever input the user enter to these lines of code to a lowercase letter. Now, we can check the two conditional statements simultaneously using the AND logical operator. And to do this, we can just simply write the if conditional statement to check if age is greater than or equal to 18 and asTicket is equal to yes in a string because you'll be expecting a string input from the user. And don't forget your colon at the back of your statement. And this way, we have successfully combined the two conditions together using the AND logical operator. And we can just simply indent under that condition by using the print function to tell the user you are allowed to enter. And this way, this age in this conditional statement is standing for whatever input the user enter to these lines of code. So if the age is greater than 18 and asTicket is equal to yes, which means if yes is the input that the user enter to these lines of code, which says, do you have a ticket? So if the user enter yes, definitely it will tell the user you are allowed to enter. And this is the work of the AND logical operators, which help us to combine two conditional statements together simultaneously. And both conditions must be true, which means the age must be greater than or equal to 18, and asTicket must be yes for it to tell the user you are allowed to enter. But what if the user age is less than 18 or the user doesn't have a ticket, which means if none of this condition is true, we can just simply use the else conditional statement. And remember, the else doesn't take any input. So under that condition, we can just simply indent by using the print function to tell the user, sorry, you can't enter. And this way, we have successfully checked the two conditions simultaneously using the AND logical operator. So if age is greater than or equal to 18 and asTicket is equal to yes, and remember this dot lower is going to format whatever the user enter to these lines of code to a lowercase. And that is why I'm typing a lowercase string in my code. And this way, if age is greater than or equal to 18 and asTicket is equal to yes, it will tell the user what is indented under that condition by telling the user you are allowed to enter. But if none of this condition is true, which means if the user age is less than or not equal to 18 and asTicket is equal to no, it will jump to the else block by telling the user what is indented under that condition, and it will tell the user, sorry, you can't enter. So let's test this code by running it to check if everything is all working good. When I run this code, you can see it asks what is your age. So let me just enter an age that is lesser than 18. Let me put 16 in this case. And when I click on enter, it is asking, do you have a ticket? Yes or no. So let me put yes in this case. And when I click on enter, you can see it triggers the else block by telling me, sorry, you can't enter. Because when you are using the AND logical operator, these two conditions must be true, which means the age must be greater than 18 and the ask ticket must be yes for it to trigger what is indented under that condition by telling me you are allowed to enter. So let me run this code again by imputing what will make these two conditions true. So when I run this code, let's say I put an age that is greater than 18. Let me just put 20 in this case. And when I click on enter, and when it's asked, do you have a ticket? Let me just put yes in this case. And when I click on enter, you can see it tells me you are allowed to enter because these two conditions is true, which means the age I enter is greater than 18 and ask ticket is equal to yes. So it is going to trigger what is indented under that condition. So let's look at the second logical operator, which is the OR logical operator. And we said earlier that the OR logical operator returns true if at least one condition is true. And to use this, we can just simply change this AND logical operator to the OR logical operator. And this way, if age is greater than or equal to 18, it will tell the user you are allowed to enter. Or if ask ticket is equal to yes, it will still tell the user you are allowed to enter. So in this case, one of these two conditions must be true. So let's test this code by running it to check if everything is all working good. So when I run the code, you can see it asks what is your age. So let me just enter an age that's lesser than 18. Let me put 16 in this case. And when I click on enter, you can see it asks, do you have a ticket? So let me just put yes. And when I click on enter, you can see it tells me you are allowed to enter. So looking at the first condition, you can see the age that I enter is 16, which means the age is not greater than or equal to 18. So that condition is false. So looking at this second condition, which is asking, do you have a ticket? And when I type yes, you can see the ask ticket is equal to yes, which means this condition is true. And it is telling me you are allowed to enter. So using the OR logical operator, one of these two conditions must be true. So let's rerun this code by putting an age that is greater than 18. So let me put 18 in this case. And when I click on enter, you can see it's asking, do you have a ticket? So let me put no here. And when I click on enter, you can see it still tells me that you are allowed to enter because one of these conditions is true. So the age that I enter is greater than or equal to 18, but the ask ticket is equal to no, which means the ask ticket is false. So it is still prompting you are allowed to enter because one of these conditions is true. And that is how the AND and the OR logical operators works. And lastly, we have the NOT logical operator. And in this case, we said it reverses the result, which means it returns true if the statement or the condition is false. So to use this, we can just simply assign a variable called logged in with a equal sign to a boolean false. Notice how the false is starting with a capital case letter, which means a boolean always starts with a capital letter, either true or false. So to use the NOT logical operator, we can simply write the if conditional statement and use the NOT logged in. So this case, if not logged in, we can just simply indent under that condition by using the print statement to tell the user, please log in to continue. Now, notice how the NOT logical operator flips the value. Since logged in is assigned to a boolean code false, so if not logged in, it becomes true, which flips the condition by telling the user, please log in to continue. And this is a typical example of how the NOT logical operator works. A quick question, which do you think is more powerful between the AND or NOT logical operator? Drop your answer in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So that is the magic of the logical operators. Small but incredibly powerful tools that makes your code smarter and more dynamic. Now, here is my challenge for you. Write a program that checks if a person can drive. The rule is that they must be at least 18 years old and have a license. Use the logical operator to solve it and share your solution in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next lesson. And until then, keep learning and keep coding, and I will see you in the next one.